Joined now by Dr. David Chao. Dr. Chao, you heard the big decision going on here, $30,000 at stake. I rarely lead with fantasy, but the crew has $30K at stake here. So let's start with Thursday Night Football. Austin Eckler, how confident should we be that he's going to play?
I'm relatively confident. He got hurt in the second to last drive before the game-winning field goal on a tackle. Didn't come back, but it was only a couple of plays. Probably was just being assessed. Didn't see a lot on video. And yeah, not that this counts completely, but even on Twitch, he said he's going to play and be fine. So I have, of the three injured Chargers starters, I have the most confidence in Austin Eckler, the least in Mike Williams. And the other good news is your opponent with Keenan Allen, I'm actually worried about him. If you look at his last play that he played, he left for a hamstring injury, returned with about 50-some seconds left, and there was a pick. And if you watch his in route, he doesn't even make a cut or run. It almost helps contribute to the interception. With a short week and that did not practice and then limited practice, which obviously can either mean one play or 99% of the plays, I'm not sure that Keenan Allen will be that effective today.
That is interesting. What about this Ryan Suckup news? I didn't even realize that. Does he have COVID or is he on the COVID contract tracing list?
Oh, yeah. I'll address that in 1 second. But on the other side, the Raiders, the Chargers have both safeties out, two key linebackers out, and that poses for potentially good games from Josh Jacobs and Darren Waller. And believe it or not, we didn't even talk about this at all, obviously, Clay. I mean, I just woke up early and was listening to you guys. But that's the article I submitted to Steve Miller last night to be posted this morning, OutKick. That a lot of that is covered with the field view and what have you.
So you like the over in theory then for the Raiders with the injuries that they have on their defense as well. Like the over seems like a good play in this game.
Yeah, soft over, and I kind of like the Raiders because of some of the Charger injuries, but also because a lot of the Charger injuries are new, and new injuries teams adapt. It's harder to adapt to as opposed to over time they're used to it. But the other thing is the Chargers. I mean, you could argue are better off losing and getting a better draft pick. Don't tell that to Anthony Lynn. But the Raiders need to win to try and stay in it, right? So desire there. But as far as your guy Ryan Suckup, I get he's an OutKick fan, but even if you call him and even if he says he's good to go, I might look elsewhere because think about this. In order to make a field goal, just like I say, in order to have a good outcome after at ACL, you have to have an injury that's fixable, Joe Burrow. You have to have a good surgery and then good rehab. To make a kick, you got to have a good snap, a good hold, and a good kick. So who's out on COVID right now? The long snapper, the punter, who is probably the holder, and the kicker. Now, even if the kicker comes back, you have confidence if it's a different long snapper and a different holder. I mean, there's a lot in that. The other thing is there's only one COVID list. Doesn't matter if you test positive or you're high risk. There's only one COVID list, and that allows teams to get people off the roster, so to speak. So there's three main categories. They're close contact, but you weren't high risk, and other than staying away for a day and figuring it out, nothing happens. There's high risk close contact, which means you were within someone 6 feet within someone who tested positive or some sort of exposure for 15 minutes without a mask. That's what happened to the three Denver Broncos quarterbacks, Drew Lock and others, but never had COVID. That's 5 days because the NFL has determined 90% of COVID cases turn positive within 5 days after the exposure. And then there's you tested positive, which is a 10-day minimum requirement on the COVID list. But there really is only one COVID list. But you just have to decipher when you go on and when you come off. And by the way, it's not always counting 5 days or 10 days from when you go on. It's counting 5 days or 10 days from when, not from when you go on the list publicly and it's announced, but when the incident happened. So it's a tiny bit trickier than counting 5 days from the PR announcement.